بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم.
فرش مجلس پاک فاطمہ زہرا لمحہ لمحہ شمار کرتی ہے. فرش مجلس پاک فاطمہ زہرا لمحہ لمحہ شمار کرتی ہے. اے عزادارو آؤ مجلس میں، اے عزادارو آؤ مجلس میں. فاطمہ انتظار کرتی ہے. فرش مجلس پاک حسین یوں ہوئے اے مجرئی وطن سے جدا. حسین یوں ہوئے اے مجرئی وطن سے جدا کے جیسے بلبل ناشاد ہو چمن سے جدا. حسین سپاہ شام سے نکلا جو ہر تو بولے ملک. سپاہ شام سے نکلا جو ہر تو بولے ملک. وہ آفتاب درخشاں ہوا گہر سے جدا. حسین ہائے وطن میں پھر کے سفر سے نہ جیتے جی آئے. عجب گھڑی تھی کہ اکبر ہوئے باہر سے جدا. شہن جب چاند محرم کا سفر میں دیکھا محضر قتل رقم 170 میں دیکھا بل جبین فلک ظلم سیر میں دیکھا موت کو لوٹ مچاتے ہوئے گھر میں دیکھا سرخی خون شفق قلب کو برمانے لگی شام عاشور کی تصویر نظر آنے لگی اسب کو روک کے پڑھنے لگے رویت کی دعا زندگی بھر سے نرالی تھی یہ حضرت کی دعا وسعت رزق کا مفہوم نصیحت کی دعا حق سے کی عرض میں کرتا ہوں شہادت کی دعا صبر وہ بخش کے تاروز جزا دھوم رہے حشر تک نام میرا سید مظلوم رہے کچھ میرے واسطے ایسا ہو مبارک یہ ماہ صدق اسلام پہ ہو جاؤں ملے عزت و جان فدیہ راغ رضا دے لقب بار الہ میں تن غرق ہو خشکی میں سفینہ ہو تباہ قید ہو اہل حرم گھر کی صفائی ہو جائے سب ستم ہو مگر امت کی بھلائی ہو جائے شہن جب چاند محرم کا سفر میں دیکھا
حسبنا اللہ ونعم الوکیل نعم المولا ونعم النصیر اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان اللعین الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم الحمد للہ رب العالمین والصلاة والسلام علی اشرف الانبیاء والمرسلین سیدنا و مولانا ابی القاسم محمد وعلى آلہ الطیبین الطاہرین المعصومین سیما بقیت اللہ العظم روحی و ارواح العالمین لہ الفدا رب اشرح لی صدری ویسر لی امری واحلل عقدۃ من لسانی یفقہوا قولی. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Inna ad-deena 'inda Allah al-Islam, that religion with Allah is Islam. We are talking this year regarding Islam, the Islam that Allah has sent, the Islam that the Prophet had brought, the Islam that Ahlulbayt had practiced and established. We are speaking about Islam and rectifying all the wrong ideas and concepts that have crept into Islam. So today, as an introduction, I just want to speak a little bit regarding Islam and how Allah speaks of it in the Quran and how He approaches the subject of religion. This ayat of Surah Ali Imran, Allah says, Inna Dina indallah al-Islam, that religion, surely religion with Allah is Islam. Now, many people, when they read this ayat, they have a misconception that there are other religions, many religions, out of which Islam is true and Islam is right. Now, when you read this ayat, because of the mistranslation, people get that idea that other religions are there, but Islam is the right one because that is with Allah and the other religions are not with Allah. But this is not the meaning of this ayat. The verse is not saying that. When you look at the verse and you know the Arabic behind it, you will see that the phrase with Allah is known as jumle mu'taraza, which means is that it is not an essential part of the sentence, meaning that it could be taken out of the sentence, and it is taken out of the sentence will not lose its meaning. So in other words, what Allah is saying here is Inna Dina al-Islam, that surely religion is Islam. There is no other religion, neither recognized or far away or chosen or not chosen. There is no such thing as another religion. The only thing that Allah regards as a religion is Islam. That is what this ayat is saying. It's not that there are some other religions that are fine or okay or a little bit corrupted or a little bit gone astray. And out of those, Allah chose Islam. Though that's not the case. What Allah is saying in this ayat is that Islam is the only thing that Allah calls a religion. And this is important for everyone to understand. All the youngsters, all the youth who are out there should know that Allah doesn't recognize any other so-called religions as a religion. He doesn't recognize that. He says that the only thing that could be called religion or deen in Arabic, that is Islam. So that is established in this ayat. Now, why is it that Allah calls Islam religion and religion Islam and nothing else can be classified as religion? Is what we want to speak about today as an introduction to the topic that is coming from tomorrow. The reason when we look at it as to why Allah says this is because of the meaning of deen. The word deen, which we translate as religion in Arabic, has two meanings. Let me go through those two meanings. One meaning of deen, meaning the definition of deen, is that deen is a way of life, a way of doing things. How we do things and the way that we do things, this is deen. This is one meaning of deen. For example, we have this usage in hadith. Imam Jaffar as-Sadiq alayhi salam has said that at-taqiyatu dini wa dinu abai. Taqiyya, which means hiding one's faith in the face of danger, is my deen and the deen of my forefathers. Now here, deen doesn't mean all of religion. It doesn't mean that the whole religion means to hide your faith. It doesn't mean that. Here, deen is in the meaning of way of life. He's saying that hiding our faith in the face of danger is a method that we use, a way that we use, meaning it is like a way of life or a way of doing things that is practiced by us at Ahlulbayt. We practice that and it is a part of Islam. So Islam doesn't mean to hide itself or not say anything at all. Otherwise, if taqiyya was religion, then we wouldn't know Islam, because who would say it? Because the whole idea of Islam would be to hide itself. But no, it is a method to be used in the face of danger. That is the meaning of taqiyya. And deen here is in the meaning of a way of life, a way of doing things. Now, that's the first meaning of deen. The second meaning of deen, it means compensation, payment. When someone does something and you pay him in return, reward him, compensate him, this is the meaning of deen also. And Allah uses this definition or this meaning in the Quran also in Surah Al-Hamd, where he says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmid Deen. This Maliki Yawmid Deen, that Allah is the master of the day of Deen. What is the day of Deen? Yawmid Deen. What is the day of Deen? Here, Deen doesn't mean a way of life. It means the day of compensation, the day of payments, the day when people will be compensated for what they have done. In other words, the day of judgment, when everyone will be rewarded or compensated for what they have done. This is the meaning of deen in this ayat. Now it's interesting how Allah says it, because Allah says that He is the master, the owner of the day of judgment, when we all know that Allah is also the master here, because everything that we have belongs to Allah. We all know that. We know that everything that we own or we have belongs to Allah. He is the master, He is the owner. The question is, why is it that Allah declares in the Quran not that He's the master of this world? He says He's the master of the day of judgment. Why doesn't He declare Himself the master here? It is a very eloquent way of Allah teaching something to us. He says, I'm the master of the day of judgment. But Allah, you're also the master here. Then who's the master here then, if you are the master there? You see, Allah here is trying to teach us something, and that is that Allah is generous. He's the giver, and the way that He gives is different than anyone else. When Allah gives something, He doesn't make you owe Him. He doesn't say, okay, you know what, I gave you this, you owe me now. When Allah gives something to us, whatever we have, we know it's from Allah. And when Allah gives it to us, He makes it ours. It now belongs to us. We become the owner of that. Now we are the owner of that. Now Allah is saying, this is yours now. I'm not going to say that this is mine. For example, when we look at ourselves, everything that we own, everything that belongs to us is ours. Allah says you can write it down. You can make a deed. You can write it on paper. You can declare to others, yes, I am the owner of this. I am the master of this. I own this house. I own this car. I own this property. I own this stuff. It's mine. So you can say it's mine. Shariat allowed you to be an owner. Allah gave you the right for ownership. This is Allah's magnanimous essence. When He gives, He doesn't say that, hey, remember, I'm giving this to you. It's a loan, and what you have is on loan. So be careful with that. It's really amazing how Allah does this. He gives it to us, and He makes us the owner. Now you're the owner of everything that you have. And Allah says, now you all are owners. And we all became owners. And the best proof of this is that when Allah asks back from us what He gave to us, He doesn't ask us as His. He asks that as ours. In other words, if I give you something like a pen or a watch, I gave it to you, and now I want to take it back from you. I will say, remember the pen I gave you? Could you please give it back? You will ask for it as, I will ask for it as mine and say, give it back to me. But when Allah asks for it, He doesn't say it's mine that you give it back. No, He says it's yours and you give it back. You see how Allah asks? He says, أَقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا. Give a loan to Allah. Who gives a loan? Who gives a loan? Someone who has someone else's property doesn't give loan. If you have your own property, then you can give a loan. When Allah is asking it in such a way, He's letting us know that you are the owner of this. You are the master of this, what you're giving. What you own, the money that you have is yours. I'm not saying it's on loan. No, I gave it to you. I made you the owner. I made you the master. So what did Allah do in this world? He made all of us masters. He made all of us owners. Now everyone owns something or the other. For example, I own a house, I own a car, it's mine, it's my property, and I have a deed to prove it to others. I can claim it. Allah made us the owners. And after making us the owners, now Allah says, look at this, how great He is. He says that if I call myself an owner and a master in this dunya, in this world, these people will start thinking that I am an owner like they are. That they own this house, and they own this car, just like Allah owns the Kaaba and the masjid. Yes, the masjid belongs to Allah, the Kaaba is Allah's, everything, this is my house, this is my palace, this is my kingdom. We start thinking that, Allah is an owner like us. So that's why Allah is saying, no, I'm not going to call myself owner and degrade myself or be misunderstood by all these people. I'm going to call myself the master of the day of judgment. I will call myself the master of that day when there will be no other owner except for me. Yes, it will be the day of judgment in which Allah's ownership will actually be known. Yes, we won't own anything then. We will be a master of nothing then. Everything will be in Allah's power, control. This is how Allah is clarifying to us that you will know me on that day. Which day? The day of Deen. Deen here is in the meaning of compensation. So, religion or Deen has two meanings. It means either a way of life or compensation. These two things have to be a part of Deen. Deen needs to be describing a way of life, a way of doing things, and two, it should be describing the way of compensation and solution and the conclusion of your actions. Both of these things must be inside of religion. So now, if that is the case, and when we look at all the religions of the world, and all the religions of the world, when we analyze all of them, and start looking at them, you can loosely divide religions into two types. There are religions that believe in God. God, it doesn't have to be Tawheed, any sort of God, paganism, whatever, a higher power of some sort. You have a group of religions that espouse to that. And then you have another group of religions that do not believe in God. They will say they're not religions, but they are religions. They are religions and they claim there is no God. Like, for example, communism is one of them, or capitalism, democracy. All of these things are what? Are religions that do not believe in God. There is no God in the constitution and the framework of these religions. Look at all of these: communism, capitalism, democracy, all of these things. Yes, you could be a person who believes in God by being a Christian, a capitalist who's a Christian or a Jew, but not as a capitalist. There's no such notion in capitalism or democracy or communism or all of these isms that are out there. There's no such notion of God. There is nothing like that of God. So that's one group. The other group are, for example, religions that believe in God. For example, Christianity or Judaism or Hinduism or Buddhism. All of these religions that believe in a higher authority or a higher being. Now, when you look at these two religions, two groups of religions, all of them you can divide it into two groups. If you look at these two groups, you will see this, that the religions that do not believe in God, their whole emphasis is on living your life in this world. How you are going to live your life in this world in the best way possible, the most perfect manner. And hence, everything in this life, everyone is striving who believe in this sort of religion. They are striving to make their life as best as they can here. Why? Because this is it. We want to make it the best. And you see, they have devised rules, regulations, all such manners of things and etiquettes in order to make their life better here. How you eat your food, when you eat your food, with what you eat your food. The small fork on the table, there's a meaning behind it. Why is the small fork there? Everything has a place. They have made rules for it. And how to talk with others, deal with others. Everything has rules, regulations. They have made it in order to perfect the life in this world. They have done that. And their whole emphasis is here. Now, what about after we die? Well, there is no life after we die. And hence everything is here. So, okay, there's no compensation for what you do or reward or punishment? Oh, of course not. Whatever you get is here and that's it. There's nothing after that. So these religions don't believe in hereafter. They don't believe that there's compensation. They only believe in this life, and hence they have worked to make a perfect way of life in this world. Now, on the other hand, you have religions that believe in God. If you look at them, all the religions, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, their whole emphasis is what? Is salvation, is hereafter. Is that if you do good, you're going to go to heaven. If you don't do good, you're going to go to hell. Or if you are good, if you're a believer, you will be saved. So their whole emphasis is the hereafter, is judgment, is salvation. That is the whole standard. That is the essence of their deen. Now, if you ask them, well, what do you do here in this world? Well, here you just be a good person and that's it. There's nothing much here. So you have no rules here. You have nothing here to do. Meaning that you just do whatever you can here. It's up to you. Just be a good person and that's it. The main thing is that there. Everything is there, not here. So those religions emphasize hereafter. They have nothing to do with here. And the best proof of that is that if their religion had rules, regulations regarding how to live their life here, there won't be a need for Congress. I mean, why is the Congress there? To make rules and laws. Why are they making laws? If the religion had laws, there wouldn't be a need for laws. There wouldn't be a need to make regulations. It's only because the religion doesn't have laws, that's why there's a need that people have to make laws, because they have to live here. They have to live with each other. There has to be justice. There has to be fairness. And all of these things come together. So their whole emphasis is there and not here. When you look at all the religions, you can divide them into two types. One is the religion that believe in God. Their whole emphasis is compensation. In this life, there's nothing that you have to do. And the religions that don't believe in God, their whole emphasis is just living your life here. There's no idea of compensation in them. But deen has two meanings. One, it means a way of life, and two, it means a method of compensation. And in all the religions, no one fits the standard and criteria of having both these meanings in them except for Islam. Islam has a way of life in this world that it has made clear for us, that the Prophet had said that even if one person scratches another person, I have shown you how to deal with that situation. Every situation that you can think of has been told to us, and how to live our life here in the best manner possible. And then the idea of salvation and conclusion of our actions in the hereafter. It has outlined for us how to do that. This is why both the standards of deen come under this umbrella. That's why Allah says that religion is Islam and Islam is religion. Why? Because of the fact that only Islam fits into the definition of religion. There's no other religion that can fit into that. That's why Allah doesn't call them religion. Now, what we are speaking about is Islam, and the Islam that the Prophet brought. Islam that truly Allah has descended on mankind, the message that He gave. There are a lot of versions of that, a lot of misconceptions regarding Islam that have been taken out, and we need to now see what is the real Islam. What is actual Islam that the Prophet brought, and what has been made up or brought about? I will enter that discussion tomorrow. But the religion that sacrifice has been made for is Islam. When we see that Islam that Allah sent is so worthwhile that the greatest personalities in the history of mankind have sacrificed their lives and have given their blood to give life to that deen, to that Islam. Imam Hussein's sacrifice is for Islam. That's why he says that if it's the deen of Muhammad that is in danger and it will be saved by my blood, then come, O swords, come and cut me into pieces in order that this religion survive. Meaning, if I can pay my blood in order to make the religion live, then I will die and make the religion live. This is worthwhile to know about and to learn about. What is it that Imam Hussein gave his life for? And we want to discuss that, and we will discuss that inshallah in the few days that are coming up. This being the month of Muharram, the first night of Muharram, and the first nighters are always special people. People who have come here before Imam Hussein has. Imam Hussein traveled a long way to come here. He left Medina. You know, when a person leaves Medina, just when he goes for ziyarat, you see how hard it is. The heart is truly in solitude and in a state of sadness for leaving the Prophet. The only dua is that, Ya Allah, make us come back here again. Make us come back here again. It doesn't feel good to leave Rasulullah. It doesn't feel good to leave his presence. And when we leave with a heavy heart. Everyone who has gone to Medina, when they leave Medina, they leave with a heavy heart. This now is Hussein who's leaving Medina. When Imam Hussein left Medina, imagine how heavy was his heart. And he came to the Haram of Rasulullah to bid farewell to his grandfather, to let him know that he's leaving. He's leaving his city for good. He will now build a home somewhere else. He's going to migrate somewhere else, going to be a stranger somewhere. But he's leaving today, and he's leaving Rasulullah. Imam Hussein comes to the grave of Rasulullah, holds on to that grave, and bids farewell to Rasulullah. He goes home and he has already announced at his house, it is time for us to leave here. This place is not safe anymore. The city that has welcomed my grandfather and has been a safe haven for my grandfather has become a danger for me and the family of my grandfather. It is very difficult to see in that one generation has passed and the city of Medina is now a dangerous place for the family of the Prophet. Imam Hussein comes to his family and tells them, let us get ready, let us go. Let us all get going, and everyone starts packing. There are people who keep advising him, Hussein, don't leave. Don't leave, at least in Medina. People know you, you're surrounded by friends. People come and try to advise Imam Hussein and try to tell him not to leave Medina. Keep yourself here, and at least if you have to go, don't take your kids with you. Don't take your children with you. Don't take your family with you. It's dangerous out there. Their lives will be in danger. Only Allah knows what will happen. But Hussein is saying, no, they have to come with me. No, they have to come with me. And he tells everyone that all of you have to come with me. Every one of you has to come with me. And everyone was getting ready. All of them were getting ready. And they're packing up. But then one person, Imam Hussein, made it clear to everyone that everyone is coming except for one person. And that is Imam Hussein's own daughter, Fatima Sughra. Imam Hussein said that everyone is coming except for Fatima Sughra. Fatima Sughra, the only daughter who wasn't with Imam Hussein in Karbala. And Imam Hussein said that she's not coming. Now she didn't know, but because Imam Hussein said it, and he's the Imam, who's going to argue? No one was arguing, but they all felt bad for Fatima Sughra to be left behind here. To be left behind. Why was she being left behind? Why wasn't she being taken? She was wondering the same thing. She was thinking about the same thing. Father, why aren't we taking me? But she wouldn't dare ask Imam Hussein. She knows that he's the Imam and what he says is Allah's words, and that's it. There's nothing to argue about that. But someone can plead my case. So she was trying to find out anyone who can plead my case. And anyone who could plead my case, she went to Bibi Zainab and said that, Aunt Zainab, if there's anyone in this world my brother respects and listens to, it's you. If you say something, he will never refuse it. Please go and plead my case. Tell him that please take me. And if you can't take me, at least leave Ali Asghar behind with me. I will look after him. I will take care of him. He's just a baby. At least I will be here home and he will be safe here with me. He told that to Bibi Zainab. Bibi Zainab came to Imam Hussein and she asked him, brother, why are we leaving Fatima Sughra behind? Imam Hussein said, Zainab, do you really want to know why? Do you really want to know why? He says, at least we can tell her. At least I would know why we're leaving her behind, because everyone is going. She will be alone here. She will be lonely here. You know, Imam Hussein said, Zainab, let me tell you why I'm leaving Fatima Sughra behind. I'm taking everyone, but I'm leaving Fatima Sughra behind. I'm taking Ali Asghar, but I'm leaving Fatima Sughra behind. Why am I leaving Fatima Sughra behind? You know, all of my children, they are a replica, an image of my elders. Each child of mine is a splitting image of my elders. Ali Akbar is the image of Rasulullah. Fatima Kubra is the image of my father. And Fatima Sughra is the image of my mother Fatima. Zainab, you know that when you will be taken to Karbala, and after Karbala, when you will go there, you will be taken in the bazaar in front of the people and paraded as spectacles in the world, and people will see you, people will look at you, they will see my children, they will look at my children. Ali Akbar, who is the image of my grandfather, is one thing. Fatima Kubra, the image of my father, is one thing. But Fatima Sughra is the image of my mother. Allah kept Fatima hidden from everything. He does not want Fatima's image and her face to be revealed and exposed in front of the people. That's why I'm leaving Fatima Sughra here. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون يا محمود بحق محمد يا الله بحق علي يا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمة يا محسن بحق حسن يا قديم الحسن بحق حسين. Allah give us the tawfiq to be on the right path, the wisdom to understand your guidance. Hasten the reappearance of our Imam, make us his helper when he comes. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا خير خلق الله. السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام. السلام عليكم أيها الإمام الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. السلام عليك أيها الإمام زين العابدين ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى الكاظم وعلي الرضا. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك أيها الإمام محمد الجواد. السلام عليك أيها الإمام العلي الهادي. السلام عليك أيها الإمام الحسن العسكري. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان الأمان الأمان. العجلة العجلة العجل يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليكم يا جميع أهل بيت النبوة ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله